We are now on, gentlemen. All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of That Film Podcast. I'm your host, David Weaver, and joining me once again is Brian and James. This week we are going to be reviewing the new Marvel Studios / Disney film, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Explain how this country is expected to maintain its security now that he has laid waste to our intelligence agency.
But the price of freedom is high, and it's a price I'm willing to pay.
All right, Cap, I'm in.
The world is a vulnerable place, but we're the best qualified to defend it.
Damn right. Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
And I'm going to be leading us off this week. Let me put you guys into kind of my frame of mind going into this movie. For those out there that don't realize exactly how Marvel is doing these films, there's like a 3-phase outlook they have for it. Phase 1 was all the films leading up to the first Avengers film, and now we're in the midst of Phase 2, which is leading up to the next Avengers film, Age of Ultron. And other than Captain America, the only one we have left is Guardians of the Galaxy. But the two preceding movies to Captain America, this whole second phase has kind of been, I don't want to say a letdown, but it started out very weak, and it started, it had me questioning whether or not Marvel was dropping the ball. I think a lot of us were questioning that, especially after Iron Man 3. I should say the disappointment that was Iron Man 3. I know a lot of people still love that movie for some reason, And then after Thor: The Dark World, it was a decent film. I still hold true to the fact that, to the opinion, I should say, that if it wasn't for Loki in that film, that movie would have been somewhat underwhelming, because in retrospect, the story wasn't all that fantastic. The villain they had in the movie was kind of lame. But Loki was a bright spot in that film, and I think he really saved that film from becoming just mediocre. So going into this film, seeing all the trailers and the ads and hearing all these people calling it a political thriller, with like Captain America dealing with kind of what you would consider like a new world order, and the repercussions of things that he does for S.H.I.E.L.D. now, and dealing with all the parallels between how the government was, or the world was, back in the 40s when he was fighting World War II, and the differences between bad guys back then and the bad guys nowadays, all that stuff, that they were promoting in the trailers and whatnot. It seemed interesting to me, but I wasn't exactly sure how well it was all going to come together, because the last thing I was expecting from a Marvel comic book is something considered a political thriller. But I have to say, this is not only the best Marvel film in this Phase 2 thus far, but I think this film is probably, for me anyways, it's at least tied with the original Iron Man as far as how much I like it. And that's because just like the original Iron Man, which had Tony Stark, and Tony Stark has always kind of been this foil for Marvel, at least in the cinematic universe, for kind of bringing to the forefront or issues like global terrorism and what have you. I see Steve Rogers and Captain America kind of the same way, but instead of global terrorism, they're dealing with like political conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed Captain America: The Winter Soldier on multiple levels, but most of all, I enjoyed it because of how well they were able to integrate this whole conspiracy theory, this political conspiracy plot into the Marvel universe, because the movie works not just as a direct sequel to the Avengers and also as a direct lead-in to the next Avengers, but it also works as a direct sequel to the original Captain America movie. There's many different layers at work in this film. There's the whole stuff with Nick Fury and Shield, and then you have Captain America, and then the stuff he's dealing with about still trying to learn how to live in this new era, which wasn't really dealt with in the Avengers, but this film was clearly the jumping off point for that type of storyline for him, and I thought they handled it really well. And also, I thought I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Where oh man, give me a second here. I totally derailed myself. But anyways, if I remember where I was going, I'll get back to it later. But in general, I really enjoyed the stuff that they did in the film with the political stuff with Shield, and it's really kind of hard to talk about the stuff pertaining to the story, because I want to say that this movie almost jumps into spoiler territory directly in the beginning, because I had no idea where the story was going to go. I knew it had to do with Shield and this new sort of program that they were initiating, but other than that, I didn't know where it was going, and so it's really kind of hard for me to determine what is considered a spoiler and what isn't. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? Is there anything you guys want to jump in about with the film?
James, you want me to go?
Sure, go ahead, bro.
Okay, first of all, I want to give props to the theater. Krikorian in Monrovia basically has this thing called the LFX Auditorium, which is also assigned seating. And for the first time, they didn't show it in 3D. So I'm very, very happy about that. So thank you to the Krikorian. I was able to see it in a nice theater in 2D near my house. Okay, so this movie, I don't know if it was just overhype or something, but I was kind of let down with this film. Not to say it wasn't a bad film. It was definitely in the good scale. But I just found a lot of things just kind of, I don't know, tiring or boring. The one thing I did like about the film, though, is I did enjoy the conspiracy type storylines out there. I mean, it's pretty much the whole Illuminati thing and everything going on. By the way, those two, Furkami and I forgot the other guy's name. If you guys are planning to watch Captain America, if you haven't seen it yet, be careful, because there's a lot of spoilers that could be talked about in this movie. And honestly, I'm having a hard time not talking about those spoilers.
Yeah,
I get everything spoiled for me. It's okay.
Well,
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
That's what was tripping me up, Brian. It's really hard to talk about the film at all without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a whole thing about, the government watching us and what do they really want with, following us and knowing everything about us. And but I really liked how they just tie that in with the Marvel universe in a way.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting it. But to me, the movie as a whole is just good and not great. I still think I had a better time watching Thor. But as a Marvel movie, it's okay. And I'm pretty sure we're going to talk more about spoiler sections and talk more in there. But yeah, it's just a good movie. I definitely recommend seeing it in the theater, but don't expect greatness. At least that's what I think.
Okay.
I'm really interested in knowing what James has to think about it, though. Since he is the comic guru. Is that your name, James, today, or what's your name?
I'm just a comic book guy.
Okay, comic book guy.
But, well, Dave, I want to ask you, did you see it in 3D?
Yes, I did.
And
Space.
Did you feel like you saw a lot of 3D in this movie?
Saw some 3D in the trailers.
So I mean, it wasn't until Brian mentioned about seeing it in 2D, I realized, oh yeah, I saw this movie in 3D.
That's what we talked about.
I didn't even think about bringing it up until Brian brought it up. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I know I had the glasses on. I don't know that I saw a whole lot of 3D effects.
It was pretty. It was like sunglasses that like tinted the
Yeah.
movie for me.
Exactly.
The picture's too bright. Put these sunglasses on.
And then that brings up something because I saw it in an almost sold out crowd. You know, they did the little trailer thing where it says, "Please recycle your 3D glasses and put them in the receptacle bins," and all of this. And some dude behind me yelled, "How come we can't just keep the glasses and then you don't charge us $20?" And I thought, yeah, how come we don't have our own glasses? Like, because they're upselling us on all these movies because, supposedly, because they have to give us these glasses that we just give them right back. You know, how come we can't come with our own glasses and get a discount?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of these theaters that reuse the glasses have earned back their investment.
I'm sure a handful of glasses walk away in every showing, but they use these glasses over and over and over again, and I can tell that by all the scratches on the lenses. So clearly, they've made their money back already.
James, next time you go to the movie for a 3D movie, you should be like the "I'm gonna get you sucker" guy. You know,
I
what I'm talking about?
know them. It's a movie full of black people. I don't know which one you're referring to.
Oh my
When he's
god!
complaining because he wants everything cheap, he said, "Just pour it in my hand."
Oh yeah, Chris. That was Chris Rock that said.
Yeah.
That was Chris Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. James, do you think that you know? I mean, the story that we did like a couple weeks back about the specific glasses for each movie. If they give those away, and do you think that would alleviate the issue if we actually paid what we pay now and we get to take those glasses home?
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. We should get to take some glasses home, and then if we bring them back, we get $5 off the ticket. So
That's
we're
not
not
bad.
paying $20.
That's not bad. It's kind of like recycling, but for glasses.
So this is about Captain America.
Yes.
All right.
Wait, did you get the one with the hood, the Captain America design on it?
No, there was no design.
Oh, okay.
No special glasses. So Brian mentioned that he was kind of disappointed by Captain America. I'm going to say exactly the opposite. I was pleasantly surprised. And, I mean, I went into the movie having heard people say that, like, it's the best Marvel movie of all time. Like, Dave, at least you said, you know, of the second generation.
Yeah.
But I heard people saying it's the greatest Marvel movie of all time. It's so deep. It's like, it has these political intricacies and like all of it makes you think about real life and all of this stuff. I don't see hardly any. I mean, I see what they were talking about, but it's not as deep as they made it out to be. But having said that, it's a very good superhero movie.
I think it's exactly what Brian said. It's really what the achievement here that should be applauded is not so much like how deep the story is or whatever, but how well they integrated the political conspiracy thriller into a Marvel action comic movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, it's a good follow-up to the Captain America movie. It's a good lead-in to the next Avengers movie, and I'm saying that it even ties in with the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s TV show. So they've really put some thought into this thing. And one of the things that I always raise when we start talking about a comic book movie is that I'm not so concerned about them being faithful to whatever happened in the comics. I just want them to be faithful to the look and feel and tone of the comic, and especially of the character. And while I was watching this, I I felt like Captain America was who he was supposed to be, which is Marvel's version, not in terms of powers, but in terms of psyche and attitude, Marvel's version of Superman, where he's for truth, justice, and the American way, where he's really is a goody-goody. And that Captain America is that in this movie. Like, he is not willing to kind of slide one into the shades of gray. He is very much black and white, like this is good and this is bad. And he's that way from the start, even though people like Nick Fury try to convince him, well, we're just trying to do this so we can protect people and whatever. He's like, no, that's wrong. And I felt very very strongly that they are maintaining the tone of Captain America by treating the character this way, which makes me feel good. Now, in terms of his powers, though, he became like a different dude, because he's like running through wall, like was it the Hulk or maybe Juggernaut in one of the movies, where he runs through wall after wall after wall after wall. Like, I don't remember Captain America doing that. All right, so like that's kind of weird. But and
he was using his shield though, James.
And they're at parachute height, and he jumps out of the plane just like free falling.
No, he fell in the water.
I know he fell in the water. But what was it, like 11 billion feet in the air, and he just
Superman,
like jumping out.
Don't forget about when he jumped out of the elevator.
Jumped out of oh right, the same thing.
And the shield protected him.
And he jumped out right. He landed on the shield, so that's okay. Because there's so much cushion in that shield. I mean, but those are things I can overlook. Like I said, the movie itself is good, and I even like the way they use Black Widow, or they never really call her Black Widow in this entire series.
Yeah.
So, Natasha. I like the way that they use Natasha, and go ahead, Dave.
She felt like an actual character this time.
Right.
Like the, she had a purpose other than just kind of being there. I don't know.
But the whole time I was like, "Where's Hawkeye at?"
But the reason she felt like she had a place was because this is more of the type of adventure that Black Widow is a part of. Like, she's not fighting super aliens from space, right? This is more hand-to-hand, more covert action, more stealth and all of that. Like, this is what Black Widow does. But so that's why I think she felt more at home in this movie than she has in the other movies.
So by the way, to tie it in with the other movies, are we to say that because of all this turmoil at S.H.I.E.L.D., that's why they weren't involved with Iron Man?
That's what I think that they were trying to say, yeah.
So we're saying Captain America actually took place before Iron Man and Thor.
I want to
not
say
really, because in the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show they meet up with Thor.
I want to say that maybe they were happening almost concurrently. Because
I would say the Thor thing was happening first, and then the Captain America thing, and then the Iron Man.
Because I kept thinking to myself, I was like, why aren't the other superheroes showing up? But then I kept reminding myself, oh wait, all of this stuff is going on behind the scenes. Like, the general public has no has no way to know what is going on until the very end, of course, during the big finale. But up until that point, there was nothing else on the news to catch any of the superheroes' attention to bring them in to help. Why, Nick Fury wouldn't call somebody in to help, I don't really know, but yeah.
And because they're busy at birthday parties.
Disregarding Brian. So I had questions. I had questions just about the general plot, though. Like, I don't understand what those helicarriers were. Like, what was the real threat of the helicarriers?
They were going to kill a lot of people.
But the thing is, they already have like a super massive helicarrier that's bigger than all three of those put together.
I think it had bigger than one. I think it was because those ones were specifically made to carry that special algorithm that they kept talking about.
The triangulation thing where then they can hone in and kill 1,000,000 people.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Whereas
because you need a weapon that can kill 1,000,000 people on a moment's notice.
They're bad guys, James.
it was just a new way to put the world in peril. Is basically the way I saw it. A different way. So.
And I'm not why does it have to triangulate? Why can't the helicarrier just go and blow up a city? Why do you need the three to kind of to map it out and like be equidistant from each other?
Each character has something to do in the movie.
Because the algorithm was created back like in the 60s when they didn't know how to do anything with just one thing. It had to be three.
Wow, Dave. You
I
thought
don't
about
know.
this. Oh, okay.
He pulled that out of his butt.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Off the top of your head, that worked pretty nicely, actually.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I agree with you, James. I mean, the whole their plot, their end game. I mean, what they were. The fact they were just trying to kill people is like whatever, but it was the end game or what they were actually trying to achieve, and how they were getting to that point, which I found more intriguing. Which I don't even know if mentioning the organization is a spoiler. Is that a spoiler, you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that stuff I found more intriguing than what they were actually doing during the finale. I think all that was constructed just to give something to Captain America to blow up.
Okay.
So.
Well, if you want to talk about spoilers, and I'll say this without revealing what the spoiler is. We can talk about that later. But I was on YouTube watching something unrelated. I think I was watching music videos. And you know how at the end of a video they have that little screen with like about 10 different mini videos where like related subjects, and you can click on one. Well, in one of those windows was the Winter Soldier unmasked. And I saw that before I saw the movie. And if you see the Winter Soldier's face, you go, well, I know who that is, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? So, like, that was just spoiled for me from the outset.
You didn't know who the Winter Soldier was before going into it?
No. Not until probably 6 hours before I saw the movie.
But isn't that in the comics, though?
Yeah.
Not any comic that I've read.
Really? Because that's where I remember hearing that through the grapevines from like comic book people.
But I'm not a Captain America guy.
But I will agree.
What do you mean, here we go. Captain America is kind of weak sauce.
The three people I saw the movie with, all three of them were really surprised at the reveal of who the Winter Soldier was. So
my point being, I was not surprised because I saw it right before I went to the movies.
Yeah.
By the way, my wife thought that Captain America was yoked. Just saying.
What are you talking about? Thought. I see the question, is that CG? Because human body is built like that. Can you really be an actual V? Like his torso is like, how can your shoulders be that broad and your waist that thin?
I guess James thought the same thing.
Well, okay, so I got a couple questions for you guys. One is, what did you guys think about the return of Peggy Carter? How do you think how did you react to how they handled that?
That was fine.
Really? I kind of felt like it was left, like it was there and it didn't. I felt like that, like it feels like there was something more that was supposed to happen with her character other than just revealing that she's senile. I don't know
what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, she was there to, I know it was part of like the whole Steve Rogers storyline of him trying to cope with the fact that his old life is pretty much gone. But it felt like, since they made a big point of the fact that she was one of the people that originated S.H.I.E.L.D., I figured with all this stuff in this movie going all the way back to that time, like a lot of it, like relating to stuff that happened back in that during that era when she was part of Shield, that she was going to have some sort of part in what happened in the finale, or she had some sort of information or something. I thought it was really kind of like strange for them to bring back a character who I mean I personally really loved in the original Captain America movie, but the fact that they brought her back in this just for like a 2-minute scene felt kind of undercooked to me. I don't know.
I thought it served its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It let you know that everything from Cap's previous life was dying.
Yeah, I got
Dying or
that.
dead. I mean, that was the purpose of it.
Okay.
And
I guess
I felt like he went to visit her. She's like, you know, I won't say her deathbed, but I mean, it was pretty close. And
Yeah.
And he's having this conversation with her, and you feel like, well, like even though physically they don't look the same, they could kind of rekindle their relationship right now. And then you find out that she's senile and can't even remember from one moment to the next.
It really it really got to me, that part where he mentioned about the having the last dance with her, which was a nice callback to the first film. But yeah, I was really sad that they revealed that she was senile. I mean, I know that's a reality for people of her extreme age, but still, it was really sad. And I think the only thing in this film, and I'm going to get your guys' opinion on this, of course, the only thing in this film that maybe was somewhat of a, I don't know if letdown is the right word, but very underwhelming, was the introduction of Falcon. I think Anthony Mackie did a good job in the role, but I couldn't shake the feeling that every time he got into an action scene, he was flying around, I kept thinking to myself, if Iron Man was there, like, he would be completely like outdone and outclassed in every way possible. He felt like a downgraded version of Iron Man to me, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like they did a good enough job of like making him feel superhero-ish. I don't know what the word is.
Nobody beats Iron Man.
He basically has the same stuff that Iron Man does. He does the same stuff, but he's much more vulnerable than Iron Man is.
Oh, I wouldn't say he does the same. All he has is wings. He doesn't have a full suit.
That's what I'm saying. He flies around just like Iron Man does, but he's much more vulnerable. I mean,
I think that's intentional. Just like we were talking about before, where Black Widow's more in her element in this movie. This is a more human movie, not so much a superhuman movie.
Yeah.
And Falcon was just a man with wings that are actually seem pretty feasible. Like, I think I could strap those wings on and fly around for a little while. But I mean, so he's just a man with some wings who was helping Cap out. Just like Black Widow was. It's far less superhuman than like the Avengers or anything.
Yeah, it's not so much that I don't think he was being superhero enough. It's just, I don't know. It's just the scenes with him, the action scenes with him, like they wasn't nearly as entertaining to me as like the stuff with Captain America was. So I don't know. But like I said, I think Anthony Mackie did a fine job in the role. It's just I don't know.
Well, I mean, clearly the 3 helicarriers were just a plot device because they had to go from one to the other and do this stupid little like plug the card in and like take this card out and plug the other card. That was ridiculously stupid. But I mean, so that was what he helped Cap out with, was he had the ability to fly from ship to ship.
Yeah. Okay. The only other actor I want to talk about really is Robert Redford, which I don't think I can really talk about him much until we get into some spoiler stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're definitely going to move into spoiler section here. So if you guys have anything left to say before we move on, now would be the time.
Let's do it.
Okay, so those watching us live right now, and both Alex and Kami, who are still with us in the hangout here, we're going to go into spoiler territory. So it is on you guys if you guys stick around. Otherwise, yeah, we're moving forward here. So we're about to spoil the shit out of this thing.
Captain America sucks.
I'm actually going to take off. You guys have gotten this one exciting enough for me that I'm going to go see it probably tomorrow or the next day, because, wow. I figured it would be just another Marvel movie that I could wait until it came out on video, and hearing you three be like, no, it's one of the best. I got to go see it, like, now.
No, it's definitely worth seeing in the theater, just like James and I said, just don't see it in 3D.
No, God, no. I can't believe anyone even sees that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't have seen it in 3D if I was buying the tickets, but I didn't pay for the tickets, so I didn't really have a whole lot of room to complain.
I'll give you that. I've also seen it because it's the only option, but, never really sought it out.
Yeah.
And that was my issue. It was the best option because the theater that was showing it in 3D had assigned seating, and I really wanted assigned seating.
Yeah.
So I had to see it in 3D.
Sure.
Okay.
Or, I mean, I had to see it with 3D glasses on.
They have those 3D glasses. They like, I think they only show the right side image or something like that, so you can go sit in a 3D movie and it looks 2D.
We should call false advertising. They shouldn't call them 3D glasses. They should just call them like 2D filters.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But all right, Alex.
Have a good one, guys. Take care.
All right,
Keep doing this. Can't wait to see more.
Kami, you sticking around?
Kami went to sleep.
He's at work, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, Kami is going to stick around because he's asleep. He fell asleep at his desk, so that's good. So I'll start us off here with spoiler stuff. And this is our first spoiler section for that film podcast, so yay for that. And I think this is a good movie to have it. It's a good example of why we have a spoiler section still, because there are things in this movie that are impossible to talk about without getting into this type of stuff. But yeah, I wanted to give praise to whoever had the foresight to cast Robert Redford in this movie, because they duped me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I was not expecting his character to become what his character became. Because that casting leads you into thinking one way, and then they totally pull the rug out from underneath you. And the idea that they used Redford for this type of a role, I think was pretty ingenious. I don't know. What did you guys think about his character or his casting or anything in general?
Well, I feel like there's no doubt that he's a great actor, so he adds to any role that or any film project that he's added to.
Yeah.
But I always had it in the back of my mind. I thought, I'm going to keep an eye on this guy.
Because, I mean, I'm gonna claim that they got me because, and this is really heavy spoiler stuff here. So just in case anybody's still sticking around, I'm going to give you a second chance here to take off. But when the stuff happens with Nick Fury, I was really expecting him to come up and take over, and I didn't actually think that. Man, it's really hard for me to say this. I don't think I have to say this. I'm just gonna stay away from it still. But the stuff with Nick Fury that gets revealed later on, I wasn't expecting that. I thought the stuff we saw in the beginning was real, and I thought Redford was going to be taking his spot. And when they reveal what Redford was doing, like the scene with Redford and the Winter Soldier in his kitchen, and the nanny who came back in the room, that was kind of a shocker for me. I was like, wow, because I'm not used to seeing Redford play that type of a character. So I don't know. They did a really, for me, Redford was a great red herring casting.
To me, I haven't seen many Redford movies, but I thought he was the villain right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
As soon as he had a talk with Nick Fury, I was like, okay, something's up with the guy.
Well, I always thought it was a possibility. I left the door open that he might be a good guy, but I mean, you don't have to go too long before you find out where his allegiances are. And that scene that you're talking about in the kitchen, that is a flawless scene. That is, they pulled that off really well.
Yes.
I think it was his housekeeper.
His housekeeper,
Right.
yeah.
And I don't think he had any little kids running around, so they didn't need a nanny. But
he was clearly upset with what he had to do, but he did it without hesitation. So,
but even at the beginning of that scene, you're not sure that he's on the same page with the Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Because initially I thought, did the Winter Soldier show up to kill him? And then he's not afraid at all. So I'm like, well, he's kind of a badass. And then you find out that they're like together.
Yeah. Yeah, and the scenes with him and the Winter Soldier later on, like when they go to erase the Winter Soldier's memory again, that was some harsh stuff. Because it was you see the Winter Soldier starting to kind of recollect who he is, and Redford's just like, screw it, just do it, get rid of his memory, we'll start again. But he made for a really good villain. The other thing I guess that to mention is the reintroduction of the Hydra organization, which for those who may have forgotten, I mean they reiterated in the film itself, but just in case, was introduced for the first time in the cinematic Marvel universe in the first Captain America movie with Red Skull, and I have to say that is probably my favorite thing story-wise that this film did, was bring back Hydra, and they did it in such a clever way. By pretty much, because Hydra in the original Captain America was kind of like this, like Brian mentioned, the Illuminati, like just like a hidden organization within another organization. Where Hydra in the original was, hidden inside the Nazi regime, and here it's revealed that the entire time they were like hiding and gestating within the Shield organization, and I thought that was some really clever writing by whoever is keeping track of all this stuff between these movies. I don't know. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I just thought it was a cool thing to add. I didn't really expect Hydra to be in this movie at all.
Yeah, me neither.
So I thought that was a really cool idea, especially when they go back to, I guess, his old stomping grounds in New Jersey, and see the hidden factory or the computer room and everything else.
I love that scene. That scene was so well done.
Yeah. I think the only downfall with introducing Hydra is not somehow alluding to Red Skull being still alive. Even though Red Skull was probably a weak character, I did expect him to somehow be alive still. But again, I think they're saving that for a later time for some reason, because we all know if you don't see him dead, he's not dead. I think my memory was that he fell into a galaxy or wormhole or something like that. Yeah,
he got warped. He got warped somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we know now, there's different aliens and things outside of it, and who knows what happens then. So,
yeah, it bringing Hydra into it is just adding this whole other element to the Marvel universe that's gonna continue onward, because there's a lot of even though they stomped out a lot of the people part of the Hydra organization in this film. It was clear by the end of it when they were discussing how there are certain people that got away and whatnot, they're still hunting them down, that Hydra is still alive and kicking out there, and I'm really interested and excited to see how that's going to affect things going forward.
And I wasn't too clear of what happened with Shield at the end. I mean, are they still there in a way, but the main people are out, or?
I think they're more of a much more low-key organization now instead of being out there on the streets.
But see, this is where I go, is that, like I said before, directly after the second Thor movie, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tied in directly to the movie. And I don't know how Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can tie in to this Captain America movie, because in this movie, S.H.I.E.L.D. is practically disbanded. And Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is built around a S.H.I.E.L.D. organization. So I don't know how they're going to do that. Now, I'll now that we're in spoilers, I'll tell you that in the last couple of episodes of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury they were not able to locate him, which ties into this movie, right?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where they're going to go with the TV show, but yeah, because like Brian is saying, to me it seemed like S.H.I.E.L.D. was all but disbanded.
Yeah.
But it can't be if the show exists.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how they do that, because I have no problem with them going on to the Avengers movie without having S.H.I.E.L.D., because technically S.H.I.E.L.D. is not the Avengers boss in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But to have the TV show without there being a S.H.I.E.L.D. in this universe that they have otherwise seemed to write. They've written it so that everything fits together. That's one piece that doesn't seem to fit together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It shows a lot of confidence on Marvel's part to make such a drastic change to the flow, the direction that they were. It seemed like they were clearly heading in.
Well, I think they know where they're going.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt, they know where they're going. But they did a really good job not really tuning us into it until it happened. So
who's Hydra?
They had me like a fish on a hook.
So who's Hydra in the TV show?
There is no Hydra in the TV show.
Although, what if there's somebody on the show that's part of Hydra?
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Agent Sitwell, who was the bald guy that they confronted up on the roof, he is not a major. He is a recurring character in the TV show, the same actor and everything. So, I don't. So
what about the main guy?
Hydra exists in the TV show. What's that, Brian?
What about if it's the main guy, the guy who came back from the dead?
Oh, Coulson?
Yeah.
No, it's not Coulson. I can tell you that.
Well, why? Okay, I'm just saying, if S.H.I.E.L.D. is all Hydra, why would Hydra bring back Coulson?
Well, no, that was the thing, though. It's like not all of S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra.
And it was...
The one that was making the decisions was Hydra.
No, it was... But Nick Fury... I mean, they've explained how Coulson has returned. And Nick Fury is the one who brought him, who made the order to bring him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about the extra scenes? And by the way, again, 20% of the audience left after the first trailer, or after the credits started. And then the other, I say another 60% after that, after the first credits.
Well, I think Marvel is kind of onto that, so that the second in-credit scene is never that pivotal.
Yeah.
Because I think they realize that people aren't going to be there. What's that, Brian?
This one was a little bit more pivotal than the others.
Well, not really. It's just the Winter Soldier at the Smithsonian.
To find out who he was.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, in the grand scheme, it's not as pivotal as that first in-credit scene was.
Yeah. Which the people I was with, who, of course, are, somewhat, uninitiated when it comes to
my God.
all the Marvel stuff, they were completely baffled by what was being shown there. Like, as far as, who those people were or anything like that. So, I don't know. I think for people out there who don't know who those characters were that they showed at the end, they I don't think it was that big of a reveal for people because there was nothing for them to go about. They were more like
Well, I mean that's like the Benicio del Toro scene in the other movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know who those people are, what's your reaction gonna be? To me, it should prompt you to try to find out who they are.
Yeah. Which, correct? I'm pretty sure I know that was what Scarlet Witch and what's her brother's name?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. Okay.
Quicksilver is like Marvel's version of the Flash, except Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are twins, and they are mutants. Which, because they are mutants, they're also going to be in the Days of Future Past movie, although portrayed by other actors.
I was going to say, because, they're advertising Quicksilver in the Days of Future Past movie, but it's somebody else, a different actor, and I was just wondering what the hell's going on.
Different company, right?
Oh, man. Those are the companies that own the Marvel stuff just need to give it up already.
Right.
They're just ruining everything.
James, did you see the Days of Future Past trailer?
No.
Okay.
Oh! I saw that it's very Wolverine centric, which.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's really not cool. That's not cool at all.
We knew that was going to happen once they changed the focus of what the comics were. Kitty Pryde, right?
Yes, and okay. I mean, you've led me down a road now that I can't stop. When you get a snowball rolling, he's got.
I need like a rant alert to post on the video.
Oh, this isn't a rant. But this is just. So, one of the first X-Men comics that I purchased was the introduction of Kitty Pryde. Who later her mutant name is like Shadowcat. So anyway, they introduced Kitty Pryde, and they introduced her into a comic that before that had been very dark in tone. And Kitty Pryde is this like 16-year-old girl, maybe even younger, who's very bubbly and very personable, and she kind of changes the dynamic of the X-Men. And four or so issues after they introduce her, so like a very short time after they introduce her, is the Days of Future Past storyline. And the whole foundation of it is that Kitty Pryde from the future comes back to warn us. And the Kitty Pryde from the future is a dark and like beaten and kind of like distressed kind of character, very different from the bubbly, girlish Kitty Pryde that we've just been introduced to for 4 issues. And so it's that dichotomy that drives the whole story, that how did this cute little amiable girl become this dark, depressed, bitter person, and what is this story she's telling us? And she tells about this dark, desolate future, and she's trying to explain to them the decisions that they made that led them to that dark future so that they can avoid it, right? And so it's complete. You see where the role of Kitty Pryde and the character that she is pivotal to how this story develops. And to see this trailer where it's all about Wolverine, where every freaking Marvel mutant movie now has to be about Wolverine, that is just so distressing to me. I could not be more disappointed.
Well, First Class wasn't about Wolverine, and
that was the best one they've done.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And this is a sequel to First Class, and they feel the need to inject Wolverine into it.
Because everybody loves Wolverine. That's why.
Well, then that should be a sitcom.
Everybody loves Wolverine.
We just have our title for our podcast.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Write that one down, Dave.
Already doing it. I guess that would be the greatest sitcom of all time. Like everybody in the show is like all sitcom-y, but he's like completely serious to the whole thing.
Gene! with a laugh track.
Hey, bub.
That's like his A thing from like Fonzie, you know?
Everyone loves Wolverine.
There is no way this movie's gonna be good, right? I mean, we're not talking about Captain America anymore, but
no, there's no way that movie's going to be... Well, I think it's going to be better than the other standalone Wolverine movies, but as far as being better than First Class, hell no.
The thing is that the source content is phenomenal. About, I don't know, 5 or maybe it's more, like 10 years ago, Marvel did a study. They asked Marvel readers what are the best Marvel stories of all time. And Days of Future Past is number 25 on a long list of, like, you know, introduction of Spider-Man and introduction of this and the first Doctor Doom and like all of that. Days of Future Past is number 25 on this list. So I mean, it's one of those iconic stories.
Well, they've already ruined the Phoenix story, so of course they're going to ruin this one.
Oh my God, did they ruin the Phoenix? Oh, Phoenix could have gone like in so many ways. And it like every way that I think it could have gone would have been phenomenal, and they just crushed it. They just destroyed what would have been like epic source content, and they just like squashed it and passed it off, like brushed it off, like the whole Dark Phoenix saga and the like how she transformed and like she was this conflicted character because she was this goody-goody on the one side, but then she had this dark power inside of her. Like all of that is phenomenal in the comics, and they dismissed it just like I don't know if it was 5 or 15 minutes, but however long they took, they just completely dismissed this whole story.
So is X-Men 2 the only reason why Bryan Singer is getting this opportunity? I mean, X-Men 1 was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
X-Men 2 was good, probably one of the best Marvel movies at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the best Marvel movie at that time.
But then he makes Superman Returns.
Yep.
And then they make a kick-ass X-Men movie without him.
And then he comes back to make a sequel to it to ruin it. No, wait. This is how you do X-Men, guys. You gotta have Wolverine.
But Wolverine's not in the scene in the comic. Don't worry about it. Just add Wolverine.
How are we gonna explain Wolverine, like, this little girl turns into Wolverine? We'll do it.
God.
But
and all it is them trying to get to the point where they could put Fantastic Four involved with X-Men.
Yeah.
Which is all another cluster F. I don't know how you
Yeah.
announce a sequel to Fantastic Four without the first one even being filmed yet.
Yeah, and also, James, I love just bringing this stuff up so James gets more upset each time. Of course, you know, this Days of Future Past is leading directly into the Apocalypse story.
Don't even get me started.
So they're already planning on ruining that one for you. But anyways, to bring this back around so we can wrap this up, the last thing I want to talk about that in that end credit scene. So that blue glowy thing that they were looking at, the Hydra guys are looking at, that was Loki's staff from the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. It looked like it, but I wasn't entirely sure. And that's what they were using the energy from that to create Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is that what you think? I didn't.
Well, that's what
that.
they were saying, that they had a lot of the test subjects were failures and they had to dispose of them. But then they said they had 2 successes, and that's when they showed Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
And that's how they get away from calling them mutants, right?
I guess, yeah.
Boy,
So-
that's killing me too. Then, because they're definitely mutants, and the question is whether or not they are the children of Magneto.
Oh, wow.
Oh God, why don't these studios? Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, I reserve judgment for how Marvel is handling this story, because I mean we'll see when we get there with the because those two characters will show up in Avengers, the next Avengers movie. So
then what happens with Captain America then? He's off doing his own thing, right?
he's out there looking for Bucky.
Which is a setup for Part 3, but Avengers 2 is happening before. So does he just stop looking for Bucky and go back to the Avengers?
It probably ends up happening that way, yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be some sort of cataclysmic event that's going to bring them all back together again.
Right.
With the new characters.
Yeah.
Because clearly what happened in Iron Man 3, Thor: Dark World, and this movie was not enough to bring them all together. Like
end of the world scenarios.
It didn't spark anyone's attention. Maybe I should help my buddy out.
Although with Shield being taken out, though, it does set them up for having a real good reason to have the Avengers come back together.
You're right.
Because they kind of all took off and left everything in the hands of Shield, and Shield's gone. So,
And does anyone want to explain to me why they haven't made another Incredible Hulk?
I have no idea.
No, I think they've learned that Hulk is better in small doses, and maybe they don't need a movie dedicated to him.
And I don't know how much more they can explore with a standalone Hulk movie at this point. I don't know. Although, hey, did you like that name drop though, James, of Stephen Strange?
Oh, I did. Pick it up on that, yeah.
Who said that one?
The Sitwell.
Okay.
When they were on the roof, when he was talking about who they were targeting, they mentioned Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, and the Doctor Strange movie is supposed to be in the Phase 3 of the Marvel movies. So,
Johnny Depp.
I don't know. Oh, I really like that list that Captain America had of all the things he was trying to catch up on.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like he had Star Wars on there. That was really good.
He does a really good job as Captain America. I mean, they definitely had fun with some of the stuff. Like even the beginning scene where he's running past those other guys.
No, to your left.
Yeah. And that one guy goes, "No, not this time."
So just tying up that first ending scene, when they're, you have the bad guys were walking through some remote Hydra headquarters. It seemed like the bald guy with the monocle. I would say that was Baron von Strucker, who in the comics he is the other leader of Hydra. Along with Red Skull. I don't ever recall them leading together or at the same time. But when one is down, the other's in charge. When the other's in charge, the other one's or vice versa also. And so I don't know that we're going to get a Red Skull reveal anytime soon. As long as Baron von Strucker's in charge.
Interesting.
Depending on how they depict him, though, because he seemed almost like a scientist in this. So if he's not in charge, then maybe Red Skull can still come back.
I really hope that when they do eventually bring back Red Skull, that it's a surprise. That he shows up and nobody was expecting it, type of thing. Instead of the next Captain America movie, they're advertising Red Skull is back. I would really hope that when he comes back, it's kind of what the hell? Because I'm really looking forward to how Red Skull will come back. Even though they've never alluded to the fact that Red Skull will ever come back, I think they're silly. They would be silly not to use that asset since they didn't kill him off.
I would expect everyone to come back at this point, because now that we have not only Nick Fury, but Agent Coulson, and anyone, like, I won't believe a death anymore.
And there's also the chance for the actual real Mandarin to show up, James.
The real Mandarin.
Yeah, in the Thor: The Dark World Blu-ray, they have what they call Marvel one-shots. That they're like little 12 to 15-minute shorts that they put on all their Blu-rays. They're like these little side stories. And the one that they had on the Thor Blu-ray was of Ben Kingsley's character from Iron Man 3 in jail, and him being interviewed by somebody, and the reveal, spoiler for the Marvel one-shot if you haven't seen it, the reveal is that the guy that's interviewing him in prison is actually an agent of the real Mandarin, who is there to punish or kill or kidnap or whatever Ben Kingsley's character for imitating him or for using his name or something like that.
I see.
And so that was, I mean, it's unsure whether or not Marvel was backpedaling there because people weren't too keen on their twist that they had in Iron Man 3. But either way, they are definitely alluding to the fact that there is a real Mandarin out there.
It feels like a backpedal to me, because how are you going to say that there was a bad guy named the Mandarin, and then someone else just decided, well, I'm going to pretend to be the Mandarin, and no one,
they realized they effed up,
and no one's going to know that
they actually do
this
kind
is
of
not the real Mandarin.
They actually do kind of explain it in the short, where the guy interviewing him mentions the fact that Ben Kingsley had no idea who he was portraying, and Ben Kingsley's like, yeah, I had no idea either. It was just a part. And they allude to the fact that the guy, the actual bad guy from Iron Man 3, did know who the Mandarin was, and he was using that person's identity for his own benefit.
But why would he do that?
So that the threats that he was making were real or something like that.
Why wouldn't he just make up another name? Why would it have to be the name of a gangster that really exists?
I have no idea.
If I'm going to pretend to be someone, I'm not going to say, hi, my name's Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano, I don't want him coming after me.
Yeah. But whether or not they actually do anything with that, I don't know. But they definitely set it up in that little short for the Mandarin to appear if they wanted him to. So, but
okay.
yeah. But anyways, okay. I think we went longer than we wanted to, but we had a lot of stuff to cover with this movie. So, plus a lot of ranting and raving about the X-Men movies. So, which is going to be great. And I'm really waiting for the train wreck that is Amazing Spider-Man Part 2.
Shut up.
So. Sorry,
way,
Brian.
That is one movie I'm going to see in 3D.
I'm sorry, Brian. There's no way that movie's good. There's no way.
Keep an open mind.
I really hope it is. I mean, because the action scenes and the effects and everything in the trailers look really good, but man, I don't know how they're gonna make that work with 3 villains. I don't know.
They're not in the movie that long. That's how.
Well, 2 of them definitely are. They're in the new trailer a lot. So. But anyways, okay, we're ending this. Some closing stuff here. To those watching the video version of our review, please stop by our website, lightsremoteaction.com. You can download the audio version from there of the podcast, which will be the more complete version of what you just saw. And we also have my written reviews of the films on there you can find as well, with some other content. And please subscribe to our channel and our podcast and our website. That would be much appreciated. We try to update them all the time.
To your friends.
Spread the word. Yes, spread the word. Pass the links around, all that stuff. Yeah, I guess that's it. And we're not really sure. I mean, are we I mean, you guys weren't really feeling that movie Oculus that's due out next week. Brian mentioned taking the week off, which, I mean, it's our fourth weekend, but I guess we can if we want to.
No, I gotta go see that movie about death and kids or whatever that movie's called.
Death and Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no such movie.
Yeah, it's called Evidence for Real. It's about a kid who dies but comes back and can see dead people.
Yeah, it's not called Death and Kids though.
Oh.
I'm going to be watching the horror movie Oculus, so...
James will see Haunted House 2.
Is that due out next week? Oh my god. Okay.
You know, a haunted horror movie comedy is so good to play during the summer.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, we could have like a couple shorter reviews next week. So for some of the smaller movies coming out, because there's nothing really a whole lot. I don't know. I know none of us are seeing Rio 2.
James should take this week to see Raid 2.
That would be a good thing, James. You should really go see Raid 2.
We'll see about that.
Oh my god.
It opens even wider on the 11th, so you'll have even more options to go see it. So, but in any case, yeah, that's it for us. We're out of here. We'll be back next week with more reviews, more news, and more laughs. So until then, everybody out there, take care. Have a good week.